and Pioneers. Today we're going to be making some Homestead home-style pasta. And tonight I'm making lasagna, and this is just a standard pasta recipe that you can use for ravioli or spaghetti or any kind of pasta dish. This is just a basic pasta, and we're going to roll it out super thin, and I'm going to pour pasta sauce and mozzarella, and I'm just going to do a really quick lasagna for dinner tonight. So let's get started. So I'm going to be lazy today. I'm going to use my food processor. You could do this on just, wood board. You could do this all by hand. You could put this in a Cowgirl or a KitchenAid. There's 1,000 ways you could do this, really. But I'm going to do mine in my food processor just because, for me, it's the easiest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 3/4 cup of flour. You can find this recipe on potspansandpioneers.com. I have some kosher salt. This is all organic flour. I'm going to add a little bit of organic cornmeal to mine, just because I like the texture that it gives the pasta, and it holds up really well for the lasagna specifically. So I did about two teaspoons of cornmeal in here, and you could absolutely use more cornmeal and less flour if you chose to do so. This is just what works for me. So I'm going to pour all the ingredients into the food processor, and you want to make sure you want to add salt, because if you don't, your pasta is going to, taste really bland. I also like to add garlic powder to my pasta. Excuse me, you don't ever hear people doing that, but I like my pasta flavored, especially when I'm making ravioli. So I like to put probably a half a teaspoon of garlic powder in my pasta. And it just really adds a garlic punch. I use less garlic in my sauce, so it kind of balances all out. Then I've got three eggs here, and I'm going to beat those up and get them ready to go into that. You could use whole egg or just yolk. If you like your pasta really orange or really yellow looking. I don't think the egg yolks do anything to pasta. I'm not really sure, but I've done it with just egg yolks, and I've done it with whole egg, and I can't tell the difference. So we're going to use the whole egg today. Now the dough is going to be really, really sticky, and so don't get alarmed if it doesn't, roll up in a ball. Sometimes, depending on my humidity levels, if it rolls up in a ball, awesome, even better. But if it doesn't, I'm okay with it. So let's see. I'm going to put my lid on my food processor, and I've got some organic olive oil here. And I'm going to use probably a tablespoon once I get this going. And we're going to use about 1/4 of a cup, a little over 1/4 of a cup of cold water. So anyway, let's get started. see that this is balled up. So today it's done really, really well. I added a little bit more water, so it even made it, you know, even better. Before I pour it out onto the board though, I'm gonna spread a little bit of cornmeal and a little bit of flour. Because this is a sticky dough and you do not, you know, want to get the dough all over your hands, and then you won't have the ability to knead it. This is just organic flour I'm putting on the board. Okay, I'm going to spread this out, mix it up really well, and I'm going to make sure and get all my dough out. I don't need this blade. You know, when you're living out on a homestead and you just have the basic necessities, even though we're not there yet, I want to be able to offer my family still some organic recipes without always having to run to the store. I think we've gotten away from that nowadays, where we're missing something or we need something for a recipe, or, you know, whatever it is, we tend to run to the store. So I'm just going to knead this. For a little bit. Now, pasta dough doesn't really have a chance to get tough on you. So, because you're either boiling pasta or you're baking pasta, and just it doesn't have the opportunity to get tough. So don't ever worry, it's not a biscuit. Don't worry about it, you know, getting tough on you or anything like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put this into a bowl. I'm going to put some of my flour in the bottom of this bowl. So make sure, leave it where you can see it. And I'm going to place this, see, a little bit more kneading. You want to knead it until it's, you know, really, really, really supple. Everybody I've watched knead, they do it differently. But the point is, you're just trying to turn in the dough, you know, as best that you can. Okay. So I'm going to put this in the bowl, and I'm going to cover it with plastic for about 30 minutes in the refrigerator, and then I'll get out my pasta roll machine, and we'll cut it and roll it out. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and brown my ground meat, because I've got to get my lasagna sauce, or the sauce for my lasagna ready to go so that I can assemble everything. So we will be back. Okay, our pasta has rested for 30 minutes, and we're going to get it out of the plastic. And I've got a pasta roller out here with me. This is the brand that I was given. This was a gift, and it has a whole bunch of accessories. It's got the spaghetti cutter, the ravioli cutter. That particular brand comes with everything. It was given to me as a gift from my mother, so I don't really know where she got it, but I can almost bet you could get it on Amazon. So we've got our dough out here, and it's been in the refrigerator. It's been resting, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it with just a pastry cutter, and I'm going to cut it into fours. Tonight I'm making a lasagna, and so I'm just going to be using the big sheets. Now, there's two ways you can do pasta. You can roll this out super thin, And this dough is relatively sticky, so you're going to be constantly, you know, flipping it, rolling it. And lasagna noodles don't have to be perfect because they're going to be mixed in a bunch of sauce. But I think the easiest way is just because, you know, everybody leans towards convenience. The easiest way to do this might be through my pasta roller, and you probably can't see it very well. So I'm not sure if I can move the camera back a little bit and see if you can see the pasta roller somewhat. There's some of it. So what I'm going to be doing is I've got this on the largest setting, and I'm going to put a little bit of flour. I'm going to drop some flour in this. So just so the dough doesn't stick. You don't want it to stick. And you can always run this over water. This is all stainless steel, so it won't hurt it. And I've got it mounted to the counter, so it doesn't, you know, slip off on me. The only thing I don't like about this is the handle. The handle doesn't stay in. And I think if you watch any of the YouTube videos with someone using this brand, they don't like it because the handle comes out. So I think they should have put some sort of grip, rubber tip on the end of this before they distributed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this through the, you know, the thickest setting. Line my board up there. I'm going to see. A little trick to this. Get it to go through there, but just to get it to go through there, and we're just going to be really gentle with it. It's coming, so you'll see it in just a minute. And it doesn't matter if it breaks or, you know, anything like that. We're going to fold it over again, and we're going to put it back in the other way. So you have to have quite a bit of patience, you know, to use a machine like this and to really work with your pasta. I'm just going to do, you know, one 11 by 15 pan of lasagna. So I want my lasagna to be relatively, you know, thin. So this looks pretty good. So I'm going to use that as one of my lasagna noodles. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll show you one more time, and then I'll cut the video over to the end where I'm assembling. So it's not necessary to buy one of these, but they're really inexpensive and not bad to have around. And I just usually put it through there twice. You can adjust this knob to make it super, super thin, but what I find is if you do too thin, the noodles, they'll rip on you and your sauce goes through them, and I don't know, I don't like it like that. But obviously the thinner that you get, you know, and I'm going to pull these so that they're about the same length. You could even do lasagna rolls. I mean, you know, just roll up your meat and your cheese and the pasta dough here and put it in the oven with some sauce. It would be awesome. I just don't really like store-bought lasagna very much. I don't really like the boiled kind at all. It's hard to work with. Your chances of getting burned is high, and it's just not yummy at all. Okay, there's another, you know, long piece. And I'm going to roll this through twice. I'm going to go ahead and finish the pasta because I know everybody's bored. They don't want to watch me do, pasta dough. So when we come back, I will get everything ready to assemble in the pasta dish. I've got to get my fresh mozzarella out, my ricotta, and the sauce. But I'll be back to assemble the lasagna in just a moment. Okay, we're back, and I've got my lasagna started in the pan. I've heated my oven to 375 degrees. And I have some organic ricotta and some fresh and shredded aged mozzarella. The fresh is on the bottom, so we'll get to that. And then I have a pan here of, it's kind of hot, it's my sauce for the lasagna. Now, the sauce recipe is going to be on potspansandpioneers.com if you want to make the specific sauce. It's a 2-meat sauce. It's got ground meat and pork in it. Very little pork. But it's got oregano, garlic, peppers, onion, dried onions. And I've let it cook for about 2 hours. So it's raring to go. So I've got 2 pasta doughs in the bottom, and I put some sauce on the bottom of it so that the pasta wouldn't stick to the bottom. So what we'll do is we're going to put some sauce on top of these. And I just do it by the spoonfuls because once it gets in the oven, it's going to start to spread. This is going to liquefy even more, and it's going to start to spread everywhere. And really, truly, your cheese is what holds up your lasagna. So this is whole milk organic lasagna, and I'm just going to put a little scoop on top of each sauce that I laid in here. And when this cheese starts to melt, it will absolutely, run everywhere. And this is only going to be, for us, it's only going to be for probably 3 to 4 people. But we'll eat on this tonight, and whatever leftovers we'll use for lunches or even maybe another dinner. So I'm going to put some shredded mozzarella. And then we're going to layer another noodle here. One. Remember, lasagna does not have to be perfect because it's in a casserole dish. No one's going to see your imperfections. They're going to only taste the goodness of the food. So we're going to do it again. We're going to do the sauce, 1 spoonful, and I'm going to do it 3 different places on that noodle. Here and here. Do the same thing. I'm going to do the ricotta. We eat a lot of different types of Italian food. I like Italian. My very favorite food is Mexican, so we do eat a lot of Mexican. And for this one right here, I'm going to do some of the fresh mozzarella, and I'm just going to pull it apart and sort of just drop it in on top. This is some fresh mozzarella I had left over from making sausage pizza on Friday. So I'm just gonna drop that in. And we're gonna do some more grated. On top. And then finally our last noodles. I'm just going to put those right on top. Just like that. Now, you could absolutely continue to layer this up the pan and make it overflow. I didn't make that much pasta today. So, for the last layer, I'm going to put the ricotta on top like this, and I'm going to try and spread it as best I can. And this is home style lasagna. It's not, you know, it shouldn't be judged or scrutinized as real Italian lasagna. This is just my version of a very quick lasagna to make, you know, for dinner. It's not a special occasion lasagna with all the stuff or anything like that. And that's 15 ounces of ricotta through this whole thing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pour the rest of the sauce. I'm going to pour it over the ricotta cheese, and this will be our final layer. And then I'm going to take the rest of the fresh mozzarella, and I'm just going to pull it apart, drizzle it on top. There's nothing like fresh mozzarella. And I've seen people on YouTube make fresh mozzarella and it seems really easy, but I have never taken on that particular challenge. Okay, so I have a little bit of mozzarella left. I'm going to sprinkle this on the top. You can certainly add more cheese if you like. And then, wash my hands real quick. And then the very last layer, I have some organic Italian blend, which is Parmigiano Romano and Asiago cheeses. And I'm going to sprinkle this pretty heavily on top of the lasagna. It's really, really, really good. My family loves it. And this will sink into that sauce and just cook up really well. Okay, we're going to put this in a 375 degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, depending. I'm going to watch it. I always hate giving times on ovens because I tend to watch my food and to make sure it doesn't burn. So it's not something you want to walk off and leave. The cheese will melt on you and it'll be crispy lasagna, and you don't want that. So we're going to get this into the oven, and when it comes out, I'll plate it up for you. So we'll be back. Okay, here's lasagna right out of the oven. I'm going to dish it up. And voila. If you like this recipe, you can go to potspansandpioneers.com and print off the recipe. We don't share your email address, and please like our video and subscribe for more recipes and projects we're working on. Everybody have a great day.